Okay, hello class. Here is your reading lesson 3.2. So we are basically going over point of view. For our HMH reading lesson today, you do not need your HMH books. Later, after we read the story, you're going to need your reading journals, spiral notebooks, but you're not going to need anything else today, okay? So let's talk a little bit. What is point of view? Someone's point of view is the way he or she sees things happen. So characters have different point of views. We have first person point of view and we have third person point of view. If it's first person point of view, you see the words I, my, and me in there. I went to the park. Me and my sister played. My dog chased us. That's first person. If I'm writing a book in third person, she went to play in the park. He played with her. They played together. So first person, I, my, me. Third person, he, she, they. That's important to remember. Okay, so a story written in first person point of view has characters in the story, like the narrator. So look for a narrator who uses the words I, me, and my. A narrator is the person telling the story. So a story written in third person point of view has an outside narrator. That means that person is not in the story. The person that's writing the story is not in the story. The narrator uses the words he, she, and they. An outside narrator can tell about the characters, but they're not one of the characters. But if it's first person, then the narrator, the person telling the story, is one of the characters. Okay? So let's go ahead and practice what we just learned. We're going to read Mango, Abuela, and Me by Meg Medina, and it's illustrated by Angela Domingos.
Mango, Abuela, and Me. Meg Medina. Illustrated by Angela Dominguez.
Oh, Dominguez. Sorry. Okay. It's loading. Okay. So looking at this picture, I guess that's her abuela. And abuela in Spanish means grandma. And that's probably the main character. And that's her mom and her dad. Right?
She comes to us in winter, leaving behind her sunny house that rested between two snaking rivers. Her old place was too much for just one, Mommy tells me as we make room in my dresser for her clothes. And too far away for us to help, Poppy adds. Abuela belongs with us now, Mia. But I still feel shy when I meet this faraway grandmother.
So that's her grandmother. She lives far away, but sometimes she comes and visits and stays with her grandchild. So let's read here.
Pin, pan, poon. Poppy unfolds Abuela's bed and slides it right next to mine. You will get to know each other, he says. But when I show Abuela my new book, she can't unlock the English words. We can only look at the pictures and watch Edmund race on his wheel. Then, just before we turn out the light, she pulls out two things tucked inside the satin pocket of her suitcase.
So there's her bed. And that sound, that pin pan pun, that was the bed opening up. So it's a bed that's probably hasn't been opened very often, right? Since it makes so much noises when it opens. Now, does her grandma understand how to read English? No, she doesn't. But they can look at the pictures together. All right, let's keep going.
A feather, una pluma, from a wild parrot that roosted in her mango trees, and a snapshot, una fotografía, of a young man with Poppy's smile. Tu abuelo, she says, climbing into bed. Snuggled in my pajamas, I smell flowers in her hair, sugar and cinnamon baked into her skin. That night, I dream of a red bird circling in the sky.
So she has a lot of descriptive words here. She's describing how her grandma smells, right? She snuggled in. She was snuggled in her pajamas. She wasn't wearing her pajamas. She was snuggled. That means she was very soft and warm and cozy in her pajamas. She smells flowers in the hair of her grandma, and her grandma smells like cinnamon baked in her skin, cinnamon and sugar. All right, so what did she take out of the satin pocket inside of her suitcase? It was a picture and a feather of a bird, a wild bird, that nested in her tree.
The rest of the winter, while Mommy and Papi are at work, Abuela waits for me to get home from school. Then we bundle up in thick socks and handmade sweaters to walk to the park and toss bread to the sparrows. My Espanol is not good enough to tell her the things an abuela should know, like how I am the very best in art and how I can run as fast as the boys.
So her granddaughter doesn't speak Spanish, and she can't really explain to her everything she wants. She can't tell her a lot of things. And Grandma feels sad. Look at Grandma. She's sad because she can't understand her granddaughter, and she can't talk to her granddaughter either. So they feel like there's a lot of miscommunication between them both.
And her English is too poquito to tell me all the stories I want to know about Abuelo and the rivers that ran right outside their door. With our mouths as empty as our bread baskets, we walk back home and watch TV.
So too poquito means too small. So her English is too little for the story. So she doesn't know a lot of English. She can't tell her stories or anything. So their mouths were as empty as their bread baskets. So their bread baskets are empty because they went and they fed all the bread to the birds, right? And their mouths were empty because did they talk to each other? No, they didn't because they couldn't. They wanted to, but they couldn't. So they went back and watched TV.
Abuela and I can't understand each other, I whisper to Mommy. Things will get better, Mommy says. Remember how it was with Kim? Kim is my best friend at school. When she was new, our whole class helped teach her English words. Now Miss Wilson sometimes has to say, "Please be quiet, girls. Others are working."
So she had a friend that didn't speak English, and then they still got along and learned how to communicate with each other. So maybe she's going to find the same solution with her grandma. Let's see.
After school the next day, while Abuela and I are making meat pies for our snack, I pretend I am Miss Wilson. "Dough," I say, pointing to the ball. Abuela says, "Dough, masa," and rolls it flat. "Masa," I say. She drops a spoonful of meat in place. "Carne." "Carne," I say. "Meat." "Pasas," raisins. "Aceite," oil.
So they're teaching each other how to speak both languages, right? Grandma's teaching the girl how to speak English, and the girl grandma's teaching the girl how to speak Spanish, and the girl is teaching her grandma how to speak English while they're cooking together.
Then I remember the word cards we taped in our classroom to help Kim. So, while Abuela fries our empanadas, I put up word cards too, until everything is covered, even Edmund. Soon we are playing Oye y Di, hear and say, all around the house. But that night, she still calls my pillow Apollo, and she says Edmund is a gangster. "We'll keep practicing," I whisper.
So they're now playing games. Look how they have tags on everything. This is a frame, a blanket, a shade, a pillow, shirt, sweater, lamp, right? She's teaching her. That's really sweet of her.
But the next day, I cannot practice with Abuela after all. Edmund has run out of his favorite seeds, so Mommy and I have to ride the bus downtown to buy more. Sometimes there are kittens sleeping in the pet shop window. But when we arrive this time, something even better is behind the glass.
Oh, I wonder what it is.
"Look," I say. The window has become a jungle filled with birds, and right in the middle is a parrot staring at us with black bean eyes. I press my nose to the glass, thinking of the red feather Abuela gave me. "Let's buy him," I tell Mommy. "But Mia, you already have Edmund," Mommy says. "Oh, not for me," I say. "For Abuela, like the parrot that lived in her mango trees. He can keep her company when I'm at school."
Okay, awesome. So, She's very thoughtful, so she's still thinking of her grandmother, right? Let's keep going.
When we bring him home to Abuela, she says, un loro, a parrot. We name him Mango because his wings are green, orange, and gold, like the fruit. During the day, Abuela teaches him how to give beaky kisses and to bob his head when she sings Los Pollitos to him. Buenas tardes, Mango, Abuela says, opening his cage door when I get home from school. Good afternoon, I say, and give him a seed. Soon Mango calls to me even before we open his cage. Buenas tardes, he says when I open the door. Good afternoon.
That's a clever parrot. So the parrot speaks both languages. How do you think Grandma felt? She was happy. Grandma was happy about that.
Abuela, Mango, and I practice new words every day. Mi español gets faster, and Abuela and Mango learn the days of the week, all the months of the year, and the names of coins. How did he learn all that? Papi asks when we show him all that Mango can do. Abuela winks at me and gives Mango a piece of banana, peel and all. Practice, she says.
So they practiced with the parrot, and the parrot is learning it all. That's awesome.
Before long, Abuela asks me how to say harder things too, so she can talk with the neighbors who stop by. Has the mailman come? It is chilly today. Can I get you some cookies and lemonade? Soon, when friends stop by to see Mango's latest tricks, they can understand everything Abuela says.
Awesome. So they're all really learning a lot from each other here. Cool. See, it just took some time. It just took some time.
But best of all, now when Abuela and I are lying next to each other in our beds, our mouths are full of things to say. I tell her about my buen dia and show her my best pintura of Mango. Abuela reads my favorite book with only a little help, and she tells me new stories about Abuelo, who could dive for river stones with a single breath and weave a roof out of palms. I draw pictures for her. She still misses their old house, she says, but now only a little bit.
Oh, very good. So now they can actually talk to each other. So it says mouths full of words. So now they have a lot to say to each other.
Mango listens to us from his perch until my eyes grow heavy. Hasta mañana, Abuela, I say. Abuela kisses me. Good night, Mia. Hasta mañana. Good night, Mango calls. And soon we all fall asleep.
That's adorable. That's cute. That's a nice story. Was this story written in first person or third person? Did it say I, me, and my, or he, she, and they? It was first person. It was from her point of view. It was from her point of view on how she felt with communicating with her grandma and how her grandma felt communicating with her. It was first person. So what I'm going to ask you to do now is inside of your in your reading notebook, reading spiral notebook, not your writing, not your word work, in your reading notebook, I want you to find the next blank page, not in the middle of the book, the next blank page. I want you to write the title, Mango, Abuela, and Me. And then I want you to make a list of things you can do to help a classmate who doesn't speak the same language as you do to learn some of the words. So encourage them to recall details from the book to support their responses. Okay? So what would you do to help somebody in the class that doesn't speak the same language as you? Would you just ignore them? Or how would you help them learn the language? What would you do? Okay? I want you to write. I want you to include as much detail as you can. Okay? I want you to try to come up with 3 ways that you could help them learn the language and how you guys can communicate. So be thinking, okay? All right. If you have any questions, let me know. I'll see you later.